This revision video focuses on GCSE English Literature Component 2, which includes post-1914 drama and prose, 19th century prose and unseen poetry. There are 3 sections and therefore the exam lasts 2 hours and 30 minutes. This revision video will focus on Section C, which is unseen poetry. Now, you will have already answered the questions on Section A and Section B. So once you have finished answering your question on A Christmas Carol and An Inspector Calls, then you can turn to the very end of the exam paper and there you will find Section C, which is unseen poetry. Now, the first thing that you need to do is focus on Part A, because there are 2 parts. Focus on Part A first. It says you're advised to spend 20 minutes on Part A and 40 minutes on Part B. So they're your timings. Read the 2 poems, whatever they may be. In both of these poems, the poets write about, and then they will tell you something that both poems are about. Now, these won't be poems that you have studied in class. They are meant to be unseen, and they're meant to be able to test your knowledge of dealing with a poem and tackling a poem that you have never seen before. Okay, so don't be put off if you don't recognise the poems. Question A will say, write about the poem, and then it will name it, and its effect on you. It will also give you some bullet points. You may wish to consider what the poem is about and how it is organised, the ideas the poem may have wanted us to think about, the poet's choice of words, phrases and images and the effects they create, that's important, and how you respond to the poem. Use those bullet points to structure your response. Once you've read that question, once you've read Part A, you can then read the poem, annotate the poem, and you've got 20 minutes to answer it. So make sure that your annotations, if you do any, are very, very quick, and that you get into answering the question as quickly as you can. Now, Part A is worth 15 marks, and you should be spending 20 minutes. Once you've answered that question, you can then look at Part B. And Part B will tell you to compare another poem, which it will give you, with the poem that you have just studied. So you'll see 2 poems, and Part B is where you compare both of them to each other. So you look at the similarities and you look at the differences. It says that you should compare, again, what the poems are about and how they are organised, the ideas that the poem may have wanted us to think about, the poet's choice of words, phrases and images, and the effects they create, and how you respond to the poems. Again, you can use those to structure your response, but you must be comparing the 2 as you go. Okay. In both of these answers, make sure that you are writing in peel paragraphs. Make sure that you are using subject terminology. Make sure that you are using relevant quotations from the poems to support your points. Be sure to discuss language and structure, so make structural points as well as language points. And also be very, very careful and make sure that you explicitly compare the 2 poems in question B.